today, that's the crux of it. This work is never done, That's what we need, right? We need to just keep working, keep connecting with every one of you. And I know that everybody here connects to the community, connects to your clients, and that's so beautiful. And what we hear today, we heard stories. I heard Tiffany's story. Oh my God, you're amazing, Tiffany. I heard Diane's story, Dr. Lipscomb's story. Wow. And he's teaching other people to listen to people's story. And that's what we need to do more of. We need to listen and we need to hear. So we've listened to a lot of people's stories today, but we don't want to end this conference without listening to you and giving you that time to explore your own story. Where did you come from, right? What are your roots? How did you get to be where you are today? What were those ingredients of your story that made you who you are, right? Now, let's be honest. A lot of people that work in helping professions, they come from pain. Let's be honest. I know I come from a lot of pain, Most of the people in this room have a lot of pain in their story, but that's not their whole story. But you got to dig deep sometimes and look at that pain and learn, what did that do for you, right? It's so easy to get stuck in pain, right? What happens when you feel pain, right? We know what happens, right? We know when you get stuck in the trauma parts of your story, it activates your amygdala, right? So you feel fear. You have all sorts of associated emotions, sometimes shame. And shame's a real powerful emotion. And it can make you feel stuck, right? It can make you feel like you're not as important as the people around you. And I'm telling you, everybody here has a story, and that story is divine. And pain might just be part of that story, but it taught you something. So we don't want to always just stay in our pain because we want to move forward. That's the beauty of this conference. It's moving us forward as a community. And I'm looking in this crowd and I feel that vibe, right? You feel that sense of community. And that's beautiful. So today, I'm going to lead everybody in an experiential. And the experiential is benefit finding. So benefit finding is really, really important because it does move you forward. It helps you explore those personal aspects of your story and makes you look at, what did that teach me? Maybe you were neglected, right? And that's a horrible thing, and nobody's saying that that's not horrible. That's a horrible thing. But I bet you it taught you something, and it got you somewhere, right? So we're going to explore our stories through exploring benefit finding. So when you think of benefit finding, you're looking at what you learned from those times of adversity and how those lessons help you in the world today. So it's really important, though, that you know when to do benefit finding and when not to do benefit finding. Now, I really believe that in order to do something appropriately with your clients, we got to do the work ourselves, right? Everybody at Penny Lane that's come to my trainings, it's all like, guess what? Today you're gonna work. We're gonna do every experiential. You don't like art? We're gonna do some art. Let's practice. Let's play a little bit, right? We work with kids. We got to learn how to play. We have to connect, right? So there's certain times you don't do benefit finding. And it's pretty obvious, right? If a trauma just occurred, you're not going to say, what was the lesson learned from that experience? Please don't do that. I know sometimes I go to conferences and I get an intervention, and that night if I see a client, I'm going to do it. This is not one of those things. Not one of those things. So benefit finding works the best if about 2 years has elapsed since the time that the trauma occurred, right? 2 years is enough time for you to start to not feel quite as raw, and for you to really think, oh, that kind of made me grow in this area. Maybe you felt silenced, right? And that's a horrible thing to feel. You felt silenced. And then you just didn't sit with it, You realized, I didn't like feeling silenced. And so you took that forward and you became an advocate, right? So you can learn things from times of adversity, and sometimes those things can become part of your purpose, right? Silence to advocate, right? So everybody has a folder, and inside the folder you're gonna find the benefit finding exercise. So I want everybody to think about your stories. Think about who you are. What struggles did you experience? And what gains were associated with those times of adversity? All right. So does everybody see the benefit finding exercise in the folder? It's the gold folder. So it's going to be divided. There's going to be directions on how to do the exercise. So there's directions right there. And I'm going to be walking around the room as people are doing this and people are exploring their stories, because sometimes it might be hard to think about how a loss can be turned into a gain. So sometimes you need a little bit of help. So I will walk around the room in case anybody gets stuck. So how you do benefit finding is you're going to see on your paper, there's a little rectangle, and the rectangle is divided in two. So on one side, it's basically the losses. You're going to think about those times of adversity and think about the losses, like you were neglected or you were silenced, and put those on the left side of the page. And then on the right side of the page, think about what you gained from that experience. So I'm going to give everybody 10 minutes because you can't leave today without exploring your own story, okay? And again, I'm going to be walking around in case anybody gets stuck, and the directions are all there, but that's the idea. You want to think about those times of adversity and then those lessons learned from those times, okay? All right, I'm going to be walking around, so everyone has 10 minutes, and I hope you learn a lot about yourself. I just want to go around and see if anybody wants to share their purpose. Anybody want to share your purpose? Otherwise, I'm just going to walk around and randomly pick some people. All right. What is your purpose?
My purpose is, I believe, is advocating for others. And that's because I was just sharing with Janet in the table that when I was a child, I was always told that I was a rebellious or a demon child because I spoke up for myself. And it was always like that. And then I had a wonderful professor at Mount San Antonio College in Walnut that sat and talked with me, and I was telling her kind of a little bit about my life story. And then she told me, Gina, you're not rebellious. You're not a demon child. She's like, you just spoke up for yourself. And what that brought in me, that moment, is that I realized, oh, I'm not this. And it was an eye-opening thing. And now I see why I advocate for others. And I'm always caring for people.
What a beautiful purpose, right? And anyone who knows Gina is an advocate. So thank you so much for sharing. Anybody else like to share? Oh, yay.
Hi, I'm Vicky. So my purpose to become a helper was after going through a pretty horrible divorce, which is 30 years ago now, which is amazing. I was a single mom with a couple of kids, and I was trying to navigate the special education system, mental health system for my kids, and and I thought of myself as being a pretty smart woman, and it was really hell trying to navigate all of these things. And so I decided to go into social services to help people who maybe didn't have the resources that I had, and that's became my purpose. And I've been with Penny Lane 20 years now.
So Vicky's a special lady. I'm really, really lucky because I've gotten to work with her as the mentor of some of the people she supervises. And boy, does your purpose show every day, not just with the clients, but with your colleagues. So thank you. I mean, you're beautiful. Hey, it's okay. If you don't want to share your purpose and you don't know your purpose yet, go find your purpose. Everybody has one. Everybody has something special inside them that's just yearning to be free. And thank God for this day and for community. But go find your purpose and live it out every day. Thank you, everyone.